Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit, Black Moon Lilith square, opposition, or in conjunct one's natal Mercury. Now, when we're having transits that involve the Black Moon Lilith, it can be about trauma, the negative manifestation of the energy, the signs and nefarious energy, and also fixation and obsession. And when you have transit, Black Moon Lilith basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal Mercury, well, it may manifest in trauma, the negative manifestation of the placement, nefarious energy, and also fixation and obsession. First, I'm going to be kind and rewind. I'm going to elaborate on something. Well, first of all, what I want to get at is when I say basically adverse aspect, of course, squares and oppositions in astrology, those aspects are negative and adverse. Now, the inconjunct, though it's neutral, neutral aspect can have good and bad qualities, and coupled with the fact that an inconjunct can often require an adjustment or a transition, and that in turn can cause some exasperation and tension. So basically, collectively, I do see this as an adverse transit. Now, anyway, again, when transit Black Moon Lilith basically makes an adverse aspect to one's natal Mercury, well, it may manifest in trauma, the negative manifestation of the placement, nefarious energy and fixation and obsession. It might conflict with your communications to some degree. And if you're fixated on something in your life, whether it's something with your home, your family, if you have this, the transit in the 8th house or Scorpio, it might be some matter with the will or taxes or insurance is another example. Naturally, I mean, fixation on something, obsession with something can challenge and conflict with your day-to-day communications. That could happen, anytime, pretty much. But when you have this transit, it might be more intensified and pronounced. Now, also, too, Mercury is about learning and assimilating information, and it can be where you might be overly fixated or obsessed with trying to learn something. It can be something you're obsessed or fixated on, might be conflicting with what you're trying to learn at this point in time. The negative manifestation of this sign may be causing issues in trying to learn at this time or assimilate information. If you have the transit of the Black Moon Lilith in Pisces and or the 12th house, it might be something where you just feel more like loafing and relaxing, and it might be where it affects your learning to your detriment. At this time, Pisces energy can be about isolation. And again, if you have the transit in Pisces and or the 12th house, it can be where that trying to relax, trying to isolate yourself, and not wanting to really do much of anything, perhaps, of course, could challenge you trying to learn and assimilate information at this time. Could also be, Mercury is also connected with the rational mind. So this could be a time where, if you have this transit, there could be something, the Black Moon Lilith, or the obsessive qualities. It might not, it might be affecting your rational thinking. The Black Moon Lilith, I would say, can be connected with vengeance as well. It's got a strong Pluto element to it, and your matters of revenge, could be, they may not be rational at this point in time. So just be careful and prudent when you have this transit. Trying to get back at somebody, if you can find a way to do something legally. If somebody has hurt you and they've done something illegal, they weren't working within the legal parameters or what have you, then go, then resolve it legally and bring the person to court. And don't try to take the law into your own hands at this time. Transit Black Moon Lilith in Libra and or the 7th house out that could sometimes manifest and trying to bring matters the law into your own hands, being your own basically resolving an issue which you think, it would be fairly in your mind, where you would justify it, or bringing the law into your own hands, and make sure you bring in the court, as opposed to bringing trying to lay the law down yourself and do something legal in the process. And anyway, another thing too is that Mercury is also connected with news, and it could be a time where you might feel like there's a lot of as far as news goes. You might either be very fixated or obsessed with it. You might even be in a situation where people prominent. I mean, Black Moon Lilith can be connected with people that are prominent in your life that play a provocative role in it. And these people, you might either see them as bad news right now, or maybe they have they virtually no good news to actually bring you, and you're just dreading basically the presence of them, because they may be just bringing in negative news at this point in time. And the thing is too, when you look at this transit as well, I mean, Mercury can also be connected with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. And these people, might not really, this is something where the Black Moon Lilith again can be connected with people that play a prominent role in your life scheme. And those people, whether they're people from your early education or early childhood, or they're close friends, these people might conflict with the activities that you may need to engage in with siblings, cousins, or neighbors at this time. And of course that can cause certain tension, certain exasperation at this point in time. And you might feel you're in this like virtual tug of war between the two at this time. And it might be dealing with some negative energy that's associated with siblings, cousins, or neighbors as well. It doesn't mean necessarily that they're expressing that energy, but they might be, in a situation where they've been victimized by a crime, and they're looking for you for help, to consult with you, or to help you find, solutions for them. And as an example, and anyway. Now, anatomically speaking, okay, Mercury is connected with the arms, the hands, the lungs, breathing, and nerves. And the thing about this is, if you're trying, you might be, if you have any of these issues right now, and you're currently going through the problem, and you have this transit, then there could be some other trauma that you might be trying to contend with, maybe exacerbating, or maybe making it harder to deal with those issues. If you have two things that are debilitating going on simultaneously, naturally it's going to make each one more difficult to contend with, to cope with at this time. It doesn't mean you could also be experiencing emotional trauma, maybe making it more difficult to take care of the physical related issues. So anyway, Mercury is also connected with analysis. If there's something that you're dealing with, the Black Moon Lilith can also be connected with a formidable adversary, a powerful enemy. It might be harder to understand. You're trying to figure this person out or analyze them and understanding all motives. So, why is this person doing such and such? It might be, there may be more difficulty in doing so at this time, more so than usual. If you're dealing, say if you have the transit Black Moon Lilith in Gemini in the third house as an example, if you're dealing with a mischievous neighbor that's playing jokes, or they're just might be doing some things just to exasperate you or aggravate you, or it could be simply calling, hanging up, things of that, just could be some basic things. And it could be a time where it might be difficult just to understand what's going on, why is this person acting in such a way, or even if it's a family member, for example, that could be acting in a way that's generally it's not consistent with their general behavior. That could be another example, and it might be harder to understand what is going on with this person. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now another thing too is that Mercury is connected with local transportation, and it could be at the time too where you maybe you're dealing with some nefarious energy in your life. I'm not saying connected with you necessarily. I mean, not something personally with you, but with someone you're trying to deal with, or situation in your life. It could be dealing with incorrigible children, as an example. It might make it harder for you to go about your short journeys in matters with local transportation at this point in time. Mercury is also connected with the early education. So it could be that people that were prominent in your early education, these people might be challenging, might be harder to deal with these people now if you're going through some physical or emotional related trauma, excuse me, at this point in time. And also too, and it might be something where you might be overly fixated or obsessed with these people, as well as another way that this transit may manifest. Now, Mercury is our general mobility. You're just, it could be where there might be some physical related issues, some trauma that might be conflicting with this, at this point in time. If the transit, say the Black Moon Lilith is in Aquarius, and say especially if you have it in the 1st or 6th house in your natal chart, excuse me, because the 1st house is connected with the physical body, the 6th house is related to physical health related matters. And it might be, if the Black Moon Lilith is in Aquarius, as an example, it could be something with the calves, the shins, the nerves, the lower legs, that might be causing some issues with just general mobility. It could be walking to the store. It could be taking a short journey by car, as an example. Now, another thing is that another way this transit may manifest, it could be where you might be overly fixated and obsessed with trying to learn and assimilate information. Now, let's say, for example, if your natal Mercury is in Scorpio, it could be trying to learn psychology or the occult, which includes astrology, locksmithing, forensics, as some examples. Also, too, another way this transit may be expressed, there may be more difficulty to keep what you want suppressed. The Black Moon Lilith can be about what you want to conceal, what you really want to keep suppressed from others and really want to hide. And those things may be harder to keep hidden from siblings, from cousins, neighbors at this time, people that may have been prominent in your early education. Let's say, for example, if the transit Black Moon Lilith is in Leo in the 5th house, it could be being something where you're being overly domineering in matters with lovers. Domineering energy is Leo, and with lovers and children, and that's the 5th house. It could be at this time as well. You look at this transit. Another way that this transit may manifest too. It could be where people that are prominent, in your life, which is the Black Moon, those people that may play a provocative role and may conflict with your general day-to-day communications, and of course that's Mercury. Now, let's say if natal Mercury is in Aquarius, it could be, let's say it's in the Aquarius in the 4th house. It could be communications and conversations connected with computers, astrology, innovations, astronomy, which of course is associated with Aquarius, and it may be with people that are in your home, your family, the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, people you're simply close to home with, and that's the 4th house. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.